How's it going, everyone? Chris here, and welcome back to another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Countdown video. We only have 82 days left until the game's release on December 7th, and today we'll be talking about the top 10 most likely Echo Fighters post the September 13th Nintendo Direct. Remember that this list is my own personal opinion, and I cannot guarantee any of these characters will end up making it in, but I do believe they all have a really great shot and a lot of evidence supporting their inclusion. But before we get into the list, I have a few announcements I need to make. The first thing that I need to tell you guys is that if you have not yet already, I highly recommend you join my Discord. As of now, we have over 900 members, and after we reach 1,000, I will start doing Discord-only giveaways, so make sure you join. You can find a link to it in the description bar down below, as well as the pinned comment. The other thing I wanted to tell you guys is that I have opened up a Patreon account, so if you want to support the channel more than you already are just by watching this video, you can follow the link in the description bar down below to donate. Also, if you don't want to use Patreon, there is a link where you can just donate through PayPal. Thank you very much to the people who have already pledged to my Patreon, it really does mean a lot. So before we get into the list, remember that we define Echo Fighters as characters who have moves based directly on another character. These moves might have different properties or effects, but Echo Fighters won't have different attacks. In other words, they're tweaked versions of existing characters masquerading as a new character. This can lead to a bit of confusion, especially with older characters. Link, Young Link, and Toon Link are all considered unique characters since they have slightly different specials. Dr. Mario is not actually a Mario Echo since he has a unique down B move and stuff like that. So now, let's jump right into the list. So coming in at number 10, we have Funky Kong as an Echo Fighter for Donkey Kong. I can honestly see Funky Kong being a faster and lighter version of Donkey Kong in Smash Ultimate. He could use a wakeboard smash for his neutral B and a wakeboard spin for his up B. Funky Kong has seen increased relevancy after Tropical Freeze hit the Switch, making this all the more likely. The DK series needs more reps, but since we already got King K. Rool and there is another DK Echo Fighter that I think is much more likely to join, Funky Kong earns a spot at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have Toon Zelda as an Echo Fighter for Zelda. Alright, so you guys know that two of my top 3 most wanted characters are Toon Zelda and Tetra, and even though I think she would make a much better unique character, I could totally see her as an Echo Fighter for Zelda. I know that she and Zelda are different sizes, but it would be all too simple to scale her down a bit. Back in Brawl for the Wii, there's a bunch of files pointing to cut characters. One pair of files relates to this Echo Fighter pick, files for a Toon Zelda and a Toon Sheik. Toon Sheik would make the most sense as Tetra, but those movesets wouldn't really match up at all. However, now that Zelda and Sheik are distinct characters, it'd be an ideal time to bring a Toon Zelda back to pair up with Toon Link. Given that Toon Zelda has appeared in several Zelda games across the GameCube and DS, she's significant enough that she'd make an obvious and fun Echo Fighter pick, and Zelda's down B is actually based on Toon Zelda, so I think that it's the perfect time to bring her into the game. Coming in at number 8, we have Paper Mario as an Echo Fighter of Mario. This one actually hurts me to talk about because all of you guys know that I want Paper Mario to be in the game, but as a unique fighter and not as an Echo. The fact that we have 3 Links in Smash Ultimate all but guarantees we will get another variant of Mario, because Mario is Nintendo's mascot and he can't be upstaged by Link. One of the things that's been a touch surprising to me about Smash in its last 2 entries is the lack of representation for Paper Mario, which is a very significant Mario spin-off series. It finally got a stage in Smash 4 for 3DS, and that stage is actually returning in Smash Bros. Ultimate. More important, however, is Paper Mario himself. Paper Mario could potentially be a Mario Echo. They can share the same basic moves, however, the Flood down B would have to go and hopefully be replaced with a Hammer Swing move. And Sakurai's team has perfected the art of 2D characters in the 3D world of Smash, thanks to Mr. Game & Watch, so honestly, I could see Paper Mario join the roster, and even if he does make it as an Echo Fighter, I would still love him. After that, we have Jean as an Echo Fighter of Bayonetta. So I wasn't really sure where to put her on this list, but I think Jean from the Bayonetta series would be an awesome Echo Fighter. The Bayonetta series should have a second rep, and since we know third-party companies can have more than one rep, it makes way too much sense. Over in the Bayonetta series, Jean is Bayonetta's friend and rival, and she's in many ways actually the secondary protagonist of the series. She plays a major role in the story of both games, but crucially she's also playable in both Bayonetta games as an unlockable character. When she's unlocked, Bayonetta's combat changes just a little, with Jean something of a glass cannon that both takes and dishes out more damage. Her Witch Time activation window is smaller, but again allows her to dish out more withering punishes and counters. she sounds like the ideal sort of difference for an Echo Fighter, and since the other guy already got an assist trophy, I think it's very safe to say that if we are getting another Bayonetta rep, it's going to be Jean. Coming in at number 6, we have Medusa as an Echo Fighter of Palutena. While Kid Icarus does have Dark Pit as a Pit Echo Fighter on the roster, its presence in Smash Ultimate does currently lack a proper villain, and given that it's a series Sakurai himself revived, no one would blame him for giving it a bit of preferential treatment, which is why Medusa gets a spot on this list. Medusa is basically a Goddess of Darkness, so she's a natural foil for Goddess of Light Palutena. They have more in common than you'd think, however. They both use magic and staff weapons to fight, and they share similar proportions. She'd make a natural Echo Fighter. Long story short, Kid Icarus needs another character, and with the whole heroes versus villains theme Smash Ultimate has, Medusa is the most likely new Kid Icarus rep. Coming in at number 5, we have Impa as an Echo Fighter for Sheik. Impa is probably the last remaining truly obvious Zelda character besides Skull Kid and Tingle who has a chance to make it into Smash. Impa has appeared in a range of Zelda games and often as an old lady, sage, or handmaiden, but a few versions of her, like in Ocarina of Time, Skyward Sword, and Hyrule Warriors, she has been a kick-butt warrior in her own right, to become Sheik in the years Link is sealed away, meaning it would make perfect sense for a Smash iteration of Impa, perhaps based on the Ocarina of Time version, to share Sheik's moveset, so she would be a very ideal Echo Fighter for Sheik. Coming in at number 4, we have Dixie Kong as an Echo Fighter for Diddy Kong. Once again, we look at cut content from Brawl, but this time in the form of Dixie Kong. Dixie is another character referenced in files for the game, and Sakurai later admitted that originally it had been planned for Dixie and Diddy to form a single tag team character, similar to how the tag mechanic worked in the Donkey Kong Country games. This was ultimately cut. Dixie is a significant Donkey Kong series character, probably the most significant now not playable in Smash since King K. Rool has joined the roster. She even took the starring role in Donkey Kong Country 3. Dixie feels like she'd require more significant move edits than most Echoes, but she'd also be a particularly good fit in terms of expanding the Donkey Kong series presence in Smash, and honestly, she would work very well as a Diddy Kong Echo, and I could totally see this happening. So she earns a spot at number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have Octoling as an Echo Fighter for Inkling. This one might be a little soon given that Octolings have only been made playable in the Splatoon series for the first time earlier this year, but they date back to the original Splatoon game, which means that they were around when the initial roster was being planned. Plus, Splatoon is Nintendo's most popular and iconic new series in a good while, and it only has one representative in Smash. Octolings are more or less identical to the Inklings and can potentially use all the same weapons. They just have a unique look to them, making them ideal Echo Fighter material for Smash Ultimate. It'd also allow for twice the amount of Splatoon's fresh fashion to be shown off in Smash, with 16 different outfits total. Overall, I could totally see Octolings as an Echo Fighter for Inkling, which is why they earned the spot at number 3. Coming in at number 2, we have Shadow as an Echo Fighter for Sonic. So Shadow is another character with some interesting past history to suggest that he could be an Echo Fighter in Smash Ultimate. Specifically, Shadow appeared as an assist trophy in Brawl and Smash 4, but that assist trophy has so far been absent from all builds and showings of Smash Ultimate. Further, Knuckles has been added to Smash Ultimate as an all-new Sonic series assist trophy. Shadow was designed to be a sort of dark version of Sonic who acts evil while still being a good guy at heart, but that also means he basically shares an identical moveset to Sonic. He could be made into a slightly slower, harder-hitting version of the quippy Hedgehog easily, and if they wanted to go all the way, Sakurai's team could give him a little time-warping chaos control move that could be borrowed from Bayonetta's Witch Time counter move. I know that he has a lot of unique moves, such as his gun and motorcycle, but at this point, all of the evidence is pointing towards him being an Echo. And since we saw Isabelle as a brand new character, as for being an assist trophy, that just adds more credibility to Shadow being added to the roster. So before we get into number 1, I just wanted to give out some honorable mentions. So the 2 honorable mentions I wanted to mention were Black Shadow from the F-Zero series and the Black Knight from Fire Emblem. Personally, I just didn't see that there was enough evidence supporting these two coming into the game, so as of now, although I could see both of them being really great, unique Echo Fighters, I just can't see them making it into the game, at least in the base roster. So if I did like the top 15, they would totally be on it, but as of now, they're just going to be honorable mention. And finally, coming in at number 1, we have Ken as an Echo Fighter for Ryu. Look, this one is such a no-brainer that it seems an obvious place to start. In a sense, Ken is the original Echo Fighter, with him making his debut as a color-swapped Ryu back in 1987's Street Fighter. As the Street Fighter series has progressed, Ken has gradually diverged away from Ryu, retaining the same moveset but taking on a distinct, aggressive, rushdown approach of his own. Ken would be an easy Echo Fighter for Ryu, sharing similar moves. Typically, Ken is more powerful uppercuts and kicks, while Ryu is more about his zoning game and precise attacks. That'd be simple enough to implement, as would Ken's iconic red gi, but if they wanted to differentiate him more, they could also put him into his much different Street Fighter V outfit. With all this being said, we also have to remember that Vergaben also said that Ken was going to be in the game, and since she has gotten so much right, this gives Ken even more credibility. So guys, this has been my list of the top 10 most likely Echo Fighters. What did you guys think about this list? Do you think a bunch of the characters that I put on this are going to make it into the game? Why or why not? Also, did I leave any Echo Fighters out that you think are going to make it into the game? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, share, and like, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.